Okay, so here,
Okay.
let's say you've got a regent who knows their members are going to bring this motion, and they don't want this to go through, but they know they
Right.
can't stop the member. They've
Right.
invited the state regent in as their guest, and the
Hmm.
state regent, again, before anybody's even made a motion, she gets up to speak and she starts talking. So at that point, what
Right.
does a member say? Do they say point of order, even though there's no
So,
motion on the table?
so, yeah, you don't need a motion. You just need a violation of the rules.
Okay.
So almost everything in parliamentary law, there is a nice way to do it. So it might be seen by some people as bad or a bad idea, but there's a nice way to do it. And if this was a concern, if we were going into a meeting and this was a concern, we don't want her to speak first. What I would say is, well, what we would do first is we would make a motion to take up that item of business before that individual speaks, and that way the assembly decides if they want to do it that way, and it can be very, it can be, well, we'd love to hear from the state regent, but I believe it is best for our organization here, for our meeting, to take up this matter first and then have that, later. Now, if you have, if you're in a group that adopts an agenda, then you'll have an agenda and it will probably say state regent speaking, and then we're going into this, and you simply amend that agenda. No agenda is an agenda must be adopted by the assembly at the outset of the meeting to which it applies for it to have any effect on that meeting. So somebody can't just write up an agenda and say, this is what we're doing. The assembly has to adopt that for it to be controlling in that meeting. And anytime it's up for adoption, it's amendable by the assembly by majority vote. So by majority vote, you could simply shift the, first item of business is this, the consideration of this motion.
Okay, so this is going to play out probably on Saturday. When
Okay.
these ladies get to their chapter meeting, they're going to get their agenda, and if they see the state regent is giving remarks ahead of time, they can immediately say, Madam Regent, I move that we move the new business portion
Mhm.
ahead of the state regent speaking, um, because we feel she's likely going to speak on a matter we've yet to vote on, and
Mhm.
then they would have to vote to
Yeah.
adopt that change to the agenda.
Yes.
And okay, well, that answers or that leads into another question I have though, is the presiding officer obliged to recognize a member? So like if a member, whenever it's time to make the motion,
Mhm. Right.
does so you can't make the motion until you're recognized, correct? Till you have the floor?
Correct. But the presiding officer must recognize any member who's seeking the floor while entitled to it.
Okay.
So you must recognize, the chair can't simply say, I don't want to recognize this member for whatever reason. The chair
So if a
must
member's
recognize the
got
member.
her hand up and says
Yeah.
they can't just
And
ignore.
what you would do, yeah, what you would do, like, even in situations where, it's unthinkable that anybody would have any business to come up, if somebody says, if I'm presiding, I would say, for what purpose does the member rise, or for what purpose does the member seek the floor? We have to know before we make a ruling. We can't just say, no, you can't be recognized now. Why do, like, if you were to say, oh, I have a point of order. Well, it's like, well, that doesn't even require recognition, but it's important for me to explain that to you as the chairman, because that's my duty to make sure you understand your rights. So, if I'm chairing the meeting, so yeah, seek recognition and then explain that, why you're seeking recognition, and why you have a right to do so. So, normally when the meeting is called to order, if you have an agenda, proposed agenda, and you're going to adopt that, then it would happen at the beginning of the meeting. Now, there may be some chapters that they're used to just the president telling them what the agenda is, but that's not how it works. Organizations need to know that no one tells them, what the agenda is, and they have to follow that. They're in control of that. So that's adopted at the outset. Why? Because the members then have the ability to amend it. So you can say, yeah, we don't want to do all of this stuff now. Let's do the important stuff first. Or like in this case, yeah, we're very happy the state regent has come, but we would like to move her address to, after we discuss, after we debate this, and put it to a vote. And who decides that? The assembly. It's the assembly's meeting. That's what everybody, members need to understand. They have control over their meeting. It is their vote. And no